The community center buzzed like a kettle on the verge of boiling over. Laughter echoed off the yellowed walls, a joyful melody the first was oddly excluded from. I sat at a long table, my own little island of solitude, while everyone else shared inside jokes and celebratory banter. The aroma of fried chicken wafted through the air, rich and buttery, mingling with the faint sense of sweat and perfume from the crowd. Yet, here I was, a ghost among the vibrant shadows, feeling an invisible barrier keeping me apart from the warmth of connection. What are they talking about? I thought, straining to catch fragments of their conversations. My heart sank a little deeper as I noticed the glances thrown my way. Was that pity I saw, or something darker? Anxiety tightened its grip around my chest. I felt like I was trapped in a reality I didn't belong to, an outsider in a place that once felt like home. Just as I was about to surrender to despair and slip away unnoticed, the doors swung open with a bang. The noise subsided, a hush falling over the gathering. My son Lucas stood there grinning from ear to ear, his bright eyes sparkling with excitement, and behind him, as if he were a character out of a dream, was none other than Ethan Cole, the town's beloved celebrity. "Mom, look who I found." Lucas beamed, his enthusiasm palpable. The entire room gasped, and I felt the weight of their eyes shift from me to him. "Ethan Cole, here," I whispered to myself, a tingle of disbelief coursing through my veins. The man who had graced magazine covers and local news was standing right in front of me. Adorned in his signature leather jacket, his smile radiating charm and charisma. Suddenly, the air crackled with a new kind of energy, and I could see the shift in dynamics taking shape. Would this unexpected encounter shatter the loneliness I had felt, or would it reveal even deeper secrets harbored beneath the surface? I could almost hear the gears turning in their minds, questions darting around in the tense silence. Just as I steeled myself for the impending chaos, a flicker of uncertainty danced in my stomach, and the atmosphere around me thickened. What's his connection to Lucas? I pondered, shivers of curiosity igniting within me. But before we delve into this shocking twist, a quick reminder to you who follow our stories. YouTube has been wiping away subscriptions lately. Make sure you're still subscribed and hit that like button to keep supporting our channel. Now, let's discover how this encounter unfolds. The crowd shifted, their murmurs morphing from whispers of shock to excited chatter. I felt an electric current race through the room, sparking an unexpected change in how I was perceived. With Ethan Cole standing in the doorway, the tension that had enveloped me began to unravel like an unwound ball of yarn. My pulse quickened as I glanced at him. His gaze was warm, friendly, yet somehow, watching. "Mom, Ethan and I met at the community practice yesterday," Lucas exclaimed, his voice full of pride. "He's been helping me with my acting. Isn't that amazing?" It took everything in me not to laugh at the absurdity. My son, my precious Lucas, sharing a stage with someone so iconic, someone I had watched in awe from a distance. My heart swelled with a mix of pride and confusion. Did I really know him well enough to deserve this moment? A ripple of confusion passed through the crowd at Lucas's revelation. Eyes darted between me and Ethan, and that familiar feeling of exclusion began to creep back in. But something felt different this time. Instead of isolation, there was an undercurrent of curiosity, perhaps even envy. What was Lucas doing with Ethan? I could practically hear the questions floating through the air. Ethan approached the table, and suddenly, it was as if a spotlight had turned on, illuminating me in its glow. "Hey there, Lucas has told me so much about you. It's great to finally meet you." His presence was magnetic, as he extended a hand toward me. I looked into his eyes, searching for sincerity behind the celebrity veneer. Desperate to understand how a star could end up sitting in my hometown, talking with us. In that moment, I realized this was my opening. The fate I thought I had resigned myself to was about to take a turn I couldn't have predicted. As I grasped Ethan's hand, a whirlwind of thoughts flooded me, a recognition that everything I understood about this community and my place in it was about to shift. But what would happen next? Could this unexpected connection lead to acceptance, or would it magnify the divide? Before we dive deeper into these tangled social threads, Don't forget to check if you're still subscribed. Your support fuels our journey, and we're eager to take you along for the ride. Let's uncover what happens next. The warmth of Ethan's handshake sent a tremor of life through me, a stark contrast to the icy distance I had felt just moments before. "Nice to meet you too," I managed, my voice steadying in the face of unexpected interaction. The crowd watched, their whispers vibrating with intrigue as I took a seat next to my son and the celebrity. It felt surreal sitting shoulder to shoulder with someone who adorned the walls of countless homes. Making headlines for his philanthropic endeavors and achievements, Lucas has a real talent, Ethan remarked, his casual tone ringing with authenticity. He's going places. I couldn't help but beam at my son, pride swelling in my chest like a balloon. But then, a thought pricked at me. Was this new relationship a bridge or a further barrier? The room buzzed with speculation. I could practically hear the wheels turning in their minds. How does he know Lucas? What do they talk about? Is she going to be part of this now? Each question hung in the air like a thick fog, yet within that chaos, I sensed a glimmer of hope that perhaps acceptance was on the horizon. But as Ethan continued to engage with us, flashes of doubt crept back in. Could this all just be an act? I wondered. Would he pack up his charm and leave us behind once the spotlight shifted? Suddenly, my insecurities bubbled to the surface, threatening to drown out the hope. "Mom, will you help me prepare for the next community play?" Lucas's eager voice pierced my spiraling thoughts. My gut tightened. What did that entail? What would I have to confront in order to be a part of this new world they were creating? Just as I pondered these questions, Ethan leaned closer, his voice barely above a whisper. "You know, I see a lot of potential in you too," he said, and a spark of possibility ignited within me. But before I could process this unexpected compliment, I caught snippets of conversation swirling around us, voices I recognized. "Loser, right?" echoed one laugh from the table across. Would their perception ever change? As I looked at the crowd, my heart raced anew. Was it possible for someone like Ethan to bridge the chasm of judgment? Would his presence alter the narrative written about me? Stay tuned as we unravel the complexities unfolding in the aftermath of this encounter. But first, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the next chapter of this unexpected journey. Who knows what revelations are waiting just around the corner? The crowd buzzed with a mixture of excitement and disbelief, eyes darting between me, Lucas, and the infallible Ethan Cole. With every murmur and glance, I felt both the warmth of newfound connection and the sting of lingering judgment. It was a tightrope of emotions, teetering between acceptance and the isolation I had grown accustomed to. "Mom, this is a big deal," Lucas chirped, his face radiating a joy that stole my breath away. The pride I felt for him glimmered within me, flickering like a candle about to be extinguished by the winds of doubt. "We'll be performing at the park next month. Ethan has promised to come. He wants to help me practice." As these words spilled from his lips, I couldn't help but hold my breath. The anticipation of what lay ahead wrapped around me like a snug blanket, yet the uncomfortable reality lingered in the back of my mind. Was Lucas ready for this? Would my insecurities shadow him during this thrilling journey? Ethan leaned closer, his smile wide and genuine. "You've got a star in the making here," he said, nodding towards Lucas, the kid's chest puffed out with pride, bright enough to rival the sun. I can see why he's excited. Can you even imagine the energy when the curtain rises? I could do little more than smile and nod. The swell of pride was intoxicating, yet I felt my heart flutter with anxiety at the prospect of stepping into the spotlight once more. After all, I had spent so long cringing in the shadows, convinced the distance between me and the community was unbridgeable. "Mom, you should help with costumes," Lucas suggested, his expression earnest and hopeful. There it was again, the call to participate, to actively engage with the world. But what if my presence only added fuel to the whispers that had haunted me? "You're so good at crafting, you could really contribute." Ethan's eyes lit up. "Absolutely. I mean, you should definitely be involved. It would bring the whole production to life." His enthusiasm was contagious, but I felt a twinge of apprehension. But what if? It was a question I couldn't voice, an unspoken fear of rejection looming over me like a storm cloud. The room buzzed with cheers and giggles from the crowd. New whispers began to trend toward excitement rather than judgment. Perhaps Ethan's involvement was nudging the narrative in a better direction. Yet, in the deepest corners of my mind, I wondered how long this fleeting acceptance could last. "Why don't we sit down and sketch out some ideas?" Ethan suggested, breaking through my internal turmoil. His invitation opened a door I hadn't realized had been cracked. The notion felt surreal sitting with a celebrity, discussing community theatrics as if I had been thrust into a reality I never asked for yet desperately wanted. I glanced at Lucas, whose eyes sparkled with excitement and hope. "Okay, let's do it," he exclaimed, grabbing a nearby napkin and a pen from the table. "I'll draw out the costume ideas while we talk." As we settled in to brainstorm, I felt a shift in the atmosphere. Curiosity sprouted like wildflowers, as peers who had once looked away began to lean in. They pulled their chairs closer, intrigued by this unexpected collaboration. Laughter bubbled around us, and for a moment, I forgot the judgments and heartaches of the past. "Ethan, what was your breakout role?" one of the onlookers ventured. His eager questions opened the floodgates, and soon the space turned into a dynamic exchange of stories. Ethan recounted tales of auditioning against hundreds, tapping into dreams that once felt out of reach. Everyone leaned closer, captivated by the charisma emanating from this man who had transcended our small-town reality. "So, am I supporting our next big star?" one voice teased, and the laughter that followed felt like balm to my wounded spirit. There was something sacred about this connection that began to form not just between Lucas and Ethan, but within the entire community, including me. As Lucas sketched and the laughter erupted around us, my heart danced lightly in my chest, tinged with disbelief. Could it be, I wondered? Could I truly join this world I so desperately craved? Yet, as the conversation flowed, an unsettling sensation pricked at my conscience. Who was I really fooling? Was this sudden acceptance a mere facade, a fleeting separation from the isolation I'd felt for so long? With those thoughts swirling in my mind, I couldn't shake the weight of betrayal lurking just beneath the laughter. As Ethan engaged with the crowd, his charm intoxicating them, I felt a pulse of fear creeping back. Would they lose interest in me once the buzz of his presence faded? But then, Lucas turned to me. The hesitance in his eyes mirrored my own unspoken fears. "Mom, you promised to help me with this," he asked, his youthful sincerity cutting through my doubts. My throat tightened. This kid believed in me with an unwavering conviction I hadn't found within myself. "Of course, buddy," I murmured, squeezing his hand. "We're in this together." Just then, a voice from across the table interrupted our moment. "You know, with Ethan around, people will start to wonder about your story." The words dripped with unrealized judgment, quickly followed by nervous laughter. I felt the weight of their gaze upon me again, a tide of uncertainty rising. "Stay strong, stay visible." I could almost hear the whispers of my own insecurities creeping back into focus. As the laughter rang out, I took a deep breath, pushing through the tendrils of anxiety still lurking in the corners of my mind. But what did that truly mean? How would I step into this newfound opportunity without losing myself again in the whispers and uncertainties? As the gathering shifted back toward lighter subjects, Ethan caught my eye and flashed a reassuring smile, grounding me in this wave of change. "Let's make this community shine bright again," he said, a spark of hope illuminating our tangled connection yet again. His words, although simple, hinted at a profound truth. Acceptance doesn't come easy, especially when forged through something as fragile as fame and fleeting charisma. The room echoed with laughter, the energy vivid and vibrant, yet shadows loomed. What awaited me in the depths of acceptance? Don't forget to subscribe to catch the next chapter of our journey. I reminded my viewers, my heart racing at what we might uncover together. Would I finally break free from the chains of doubt? What lay concealed beneath the layers of this newfound camaraderie with my son and Ethan? For now, the air pulsed with possibility, but the journey ahead remained uncertain. Yet amidst the chaos and the challenges to come, I was ready to embrace the unknown. And I hoped you're with me, eager to explore the truth behind the light. The room was charged with a buzz of excitement, laughter echoing like sweet music, wrapping around me and pulling me in. It was as if I had been granted a glimpse into another world, one where acceptance wasn't just a distant dream but a vibrant reality. I sat shoulder to shoulder with my son Lucas and the illustrious Ethan Cole, amid the flickering hope that this moment could be the turning point I had longed for. Ethan leaned in, his eyes bright with eagerness. "Let's brainstorm," he said. "This community play is going to be epic. Lucas, why don't you tell everyone your ideas?" As my son launched into his vision, excitement radiated from him, a beam of light that seemed to disperse the lingering shadows. I couldn't help but feel a swell of pride. This was my boy, a budding star, unafraid to dream big. Each word he uttered filled the air like fireworks, and for the first time that evening, it felt like the barriers that had kept me isolated were starting to crumble. Laughter erupted around us as Ethan took on the role of the enthusiastic director, his playful critiques and encouragement bewitching the crowd. "All right, let's talk costumes," Lucas exclaimed. "Mom, you're the best at crafting. You've got to help me make something amazing." His eyes sparkled with an anticipation that mirrored my own. This was our chance. Suddenly, a chill ran through my spine as the whispering doubts returned. What if this glittering moment was just a facade? What if once the thrill of Ethan's presence faded, everyone reverted to their old ways? But then I turned my gaze to the faces around me, the smiles illuminated with curiosity and genuine interest. The laughter was real. The connections felt tangible. I longed for more than mere acceptance. I wanted to belong. "Okay, I'll help you," I said, finding my voice amid the budding excitement. The words tasted sweet on my tongue, and with that, something shifted within me. Perhaps this was my moment, not just to join the space beside my son and Ethan, but a chance to reclaim my place in this community. But just as the energy peaked, a familiar voice from a corner of the room cut through the air. "What's she doing here?" The sneer hung in the air, a reminder of the judgments I had battled for so long. My heart sank, and for a fleeting moment, the warmth faded. But I quickly remembered Lucas's enthusiasm and Ethan's validation just moments prior. "They're with me," I thought fiercely. "I'm with them." I stood tall, determination igniting within. Ethan caught my eye and nodded subtly, as if sensing the internal battle I fought. "We're all in this together," he said with unwavering conviction, turning to the crowd. "This is about community, supporting each other, creating something beautiful. Anyone who doubts that doesn't understand what we're building here." The weight of his words washed over me, infusing the air with renewed hope. I realized I wasn't just standing at the sidelines anymore, I was part of something bigger. For the first time in a long while, I embraced my voice. As Lucas and I discussed ideas, the murmurs from the others started to shift, the curiosity in their eyes transforming into something more encouraging. I felt a flicker of empowerment. The old chain of isolation started to feel lighter, as if it was beginning to break free. The conversations flowed. Ideas danced through the air, becoming a tapestry of community spirit. I shared my thoughts on costumes, and with each person who leaned in to listen, a new thread weaved into our collective story. Laughter mixed with camaraderie, and for the first time, it didn't feel like I was fighting against the current, I was swimming alongside it. "Don't forget to share your favorite moments from our gathering," I said to the camera, a smile painting my face. "And make sure to subscribe for more. It means the world to us as we navigate this journey together." In that moment, as I looked around, I felt a spark ignite, something deeper within me, a profound understanding that community is formed not just through acceptance, but through the embrace of our vulnerabilities and the celebration of our differences. And as the night unfolded, surrounded by my son, Ethan, and new friends, I knew this was just the beginning. Together, we would craft not just costumes for a play, but a renewed sense of belonging, a narrative that uplifted and inspired. This chapter wasn't merely a conclusion. It was a promise of a journey still unfolding, and I was finally ready to embrace it. After all, in this small town, where hearts and dreams intertwined. I was no longer just an outsider. I was home.